Hi guys, this is Sandy. I am your Central Florida real estate agent, Central Florida Realtor. And each quarter we do a report on things to consider when selling your house. So this edition is going to be for fall 2021. But if you watch this video a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, all you got to do is request a report as I go through the report with you. And we are going to send you the one that's current, right? The current one, because we do this every quarter. So each quarter we do a report, things to consider when selling your house. And we go over different things based upon what's going on in the marketplace at the time, right? So today is October 2021, and we are in a serious seller's market. We have very low inventory, and builders are having a hard time finding building products, right, to do new construction homes. So now is a great time to sell. Now is also a great time to sell property, cash in on your equity, or maybe to sell your smaller home and get a bigger home, or vice versa, or maybe sell your condo or your townhome and buy a home, right? So before we start thinking about selling a home or putting our home on the market, we definitely want to look into things like, what do we need to know? What's going on? What's the current trend? What is going to make me get the most amount of money for my home? And these things are going to be very important, right? So in this report, these are some of the things that will be covered. And again, you could text or email us and just say, hey, I'd like to get a copy of your seller's report. And we will either email it to you or mail it out to you. You tell us which one you prefer, free of cost, no question asked. We mail these out and we email and mail these out a lot, right? We do this every quarter to all of our past clients and also all of our clients who are thinking of buying or selling. Now, I'm not going to be able to go through everything with you in this video, but I'm going to highlight a few things, and then I'm going to encourage you to get the full report by either texting us at 407-791-4713 or emailing us, and we will get you a copy. Okay. So in this report, right, we have a few topics. We have 4 major incentives to sell this fall, expert insights on the current housing market. This is going to be key because this will let you know what price you might want to expect for your home. Will home price continue to rise? If only we knew, right? Leveraging your equity to make a move. Remote work is changing our home needs, which is so true. If I sell now, where will I go? Very good question. Should I renovate my house before I sell it? Right? Save time and effort by selling with an agent. Why pricing your house right matters. How to prepare your house for a winning sale. And reason to hire a professional real estate professional. Well, of course, you should hire a professional if you're thinking of selling. And I'm not saying you can't sell by yourself, but look at it this way. There are people that know more about stuff because they do it every day and because they're on the inside of it. So they kind of know a little bit more details, or they could smell a rat, right? They could smell if something isn't quite right because they do it every day. As opposed to you, this is your biggest asset. And as opposed to you trying to save the commission because you want to sell it by yourself. And unfortunately, what happens a lot with that, not all the time, but what happens a lot with that is the buyer end up getting the commission you're trying to save from not paying the agent, right? Because remember, guys, when you're doing a for sale by owner and the buyers are looking, some buyers are specifically looking for sale by owner because they know you're trying to save the commission. And guess what? They also don't want to pay the commission. So in their mind, if your house is, let's say you're selling your house for $350,000, and let's say as an example, you'd pay $20,000 in real estate commission. I'm making numbers up here, guys. So the buyer's thinking if they're selling for $350 and it's a for sale by owner and they're saving 20 grand, I'm going to offer them $330, right? Right. So that's kind of what happened. When buyers are looking, when serious buyers are looking for a home, they are going to go to a professional. They really are, because they figure that we kind of know the inside of the market. We kind of know what's going on, and we might know about a few homes that are coming up. And the one thing I know about buyers, guys, they want to see as many homes as possible, right? Very few buyers are going to look at 2 or 3 homes and pick one. They want to see if they feel like if they don't see all the available homes, they're missing out on something, or they're not getting the best buck for their money. And you probably feel the same way, because if you're selling your home and you're buying another one, you're going to be thinking the same thing. Wait, I got to see as many homes as I possibly could see. What if I'm missing out on, a few homes? And guess what happened? Sometimes when a buyer put an offer in on a home and then 2 other homes come on the market, They are like, oh my gosh, oh my God, I didn't know those are going to come on the market. Oh, can we see those too? Right. And because we always think the grass is greener, right? It's a human thing. All of us go through it. So that's one of the reasons why you may want to consider using a professional, right? Um, when you're selling your home. But I'm not saying you can't sell it on your own. You might be able to learn a lot from this report and be able to do it by yourself, right? All is fair. Okay. So 4 major incentives to sell this fall, right? Your house will likely sell quickly, that it will. So you want to put your house in the best light possible. And you also want to make your house look as close as possible to a new construction home. What do I mean by that? You may want to neutralize it as much as you possibly can by taking down your favorite colors, or maybe your family portraits, or maybe pictures that you have taken as you go through vacations, that kind of thing. You want to neutralize this as much as possible. Buyers are willing to compete for your home, right? So guess what? This is a fact. The more move-in ready your home looks, the more money you're going to get. Now, I'm not saying if the home needs work, you won't get money. You will. But the more move-in ready it looks, the more competition you'll have. You'll have so many offers to choose from, right? When supply is low, your house is in the spotlight. So if you're in an area that you know, or especially if you're in a well-sorted after development or neighborhood, and there's nothing coming up on the market, and you know when your home at the market is going to go really fast, then guess what you want to do? You want to put it in the best light possible, big time, because then that's going to really make it show very well. If you're thinking of moving up, now may be the time. Because remember, guys, you're selling to buy, right? So you're going to get a lot of money to sell, but then you also got to compete and buy. And there's a program that we work with that allows you to go out and buy the home you want to buy first. They'll give you the financing to buy the home you want to buy first. When you move in that home, then you'll sell your home and then the home you currently live in. And when you sell that home, then you repay them. It's called a bridge loan. And this particular program that we use, it only costs you 1.5% of the new home price. So let's pretend that you're selling your townhome for $200,000, but you want to buy a home for $300,000, right? And with that home, you want to put, let's say you have $100,000 in the townhome, so you want to put $100,000 down. So they'll give you the 20% upfront to put down on the home you're buying for $300,000 and cover your closing costs with that. Once you move into that home, then they will then have you'll then put your townhome on the market and we'll sell it, and then you'll repay them. But even more importantly, they'll actually give you up to 6 months of mortgage payment, right, for the townhome. So let's say you bought the home, you move in the home, you put the townhome on the market, they'll give you up to 6 months to sell it. Now, we all know it's going to take way less than 6 months to sell it if it's priced correctly, right? And when homes are priced correctly, they get more bidding wars. The more market value you put on your home, like if you say, okay, the market value of my home is $250, I'll sell it at $250. Guess what? You might end up getting offers for $280 or even higher, right? That's what's going on right now. In the past, home sellers might have waited weeks or months to get an offer that might not be as high as they'd hoped. Buyers may have lowballed or driven a hard bargain. However, today, homes are getting snapped up fast, sometimes within days of going on the market. Buyers mired in bidding wars are pushing their offers over asking price and often waiving inspections and other demands to sweeten their offer, which is so true, right? Now, I'm not telling you should waive an inspection contingency. And it depends, right? If you go to the home and the home is in pretty good condition, you may want to waive it. If you go to the home and the home needs work, you may not want to waive it. If you're into construction or you could do a lot of handy stuff yourself, then an inspection may not be important to you. Or if you're a single mom, an inspection might be of importance to you, so you might not want to waive that. So it all depends upon what kind of buyer you are, right? So this report goes into different aspects of the home market. Will home prices continue to rise? What do you guys think? Will it continue to rise? Where will home value go from here? You know, guys, unfortunately, if the market continues, there are some people that are going to get priced out of the market, unfortunately, because some of the people who are waiting, thinking that the market is going to crash, they might be priced out of the market. The problem with that thinking is banks are being very strict on lending. So they're not just lending the money to anyone as they were doing before. And number two, people are bringing the difference in their appraisal to the closing table. So the appraisers aren't appraising high. People are making up the difference, bringing it to the closing table with them. So this is going to not create what people are thinking. And also, guys, when the foreclosures come on the market, we do know that there will be some foreclosures, not a lot, but there will be some foreclosures. Guess what? The foreclosures are going to be selling at a rate at the same market value as what's going on now, because the banks are not stupid, right? So if the banks know, oh, if we put carpet and this and that in this house, we could sell it at market value, they will. So even though if it's a foreclosed or bank-owned property, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a bargain or a sale on it. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 foreclosures so far this week, and they're all at market value. None of them was something where I'd be like, oh my God, let me jump on this before anybody else does. They were in line with what other properties were selling for. So just because foreclosures might come on the market doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a deal from them. I used to work for Fannie Mae back in 09, 010, 011, when 2010, 2011, those times when the market had crashed and the market was horrible, right? And the first thing Fannie Mae does is they send us out to determine, do they want to fix the property or not? Does it make sense to put money in the property to fix it, or should we sell it as is? I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to be doing now. And they might decide, you know what? Let's take $20,000 and fix the property if we're going to get $50,000 from doing that, right? And they might choose to do so. So here we have this chart here, and we have 2021 home price forecasts, right? So these are from some of the top contenders: Fannie Mae, NAR, Freddie Mac, Zelman, MBA. And the average all over overcast is that homes are going to be appreciating at least 12.46%, guys. That's a huge, huge number. And with the high level of buyer demand last for a year, low mortgage rates have powered buyer demand. And as we all know, if you get a higher price home at a lower interest rate, it's cheaper than getting a lower price home at a higher interest rate, right? And at a low interest rate, you get more for your money. So obviously, that's going to be a big deal. So as long as interest rate remains low, there's going to be a demand for home purchases, right? So you got to leverage your equity to make a move. You got to do that. Now, here's what CoreLogic is telling us. It's telling us that the average homeowner gained $33,000 in equity over the past year. Who agrees with that? I tend to agree. 33, that's the average. Some people have made out over 100 grand in equity since 2020 to 2021, guys. That's insane, isn't it? Everyone thought the market was going to go in reverse because of COVID, and look what the market is doing. And here's what I say. I say the market is going to do what nobody's expecting it to do. So since so many people are expecting the market to fall, it will not fall. It won't, right? It's going to go up. Look at what they're predicting here. Potential home price growth over the next 5 years. Look at this. This goes to show me that based upon your age, your kids might be outpriced out of the market. College kids who are in college and high school may need way better paying jobs, guys, to actually buy a home. Look at these prices, right? This is insane. And there's some areas that these prices only could get you like maybe a 1-bedroom or a condo. Like seriously. It is crazy. And this is just an average, right? So that means these prices are going to be even higher if the market continues to trend that way and interest rates remain low, right? So that is absolutely insane. So no matter your situation, let's connect to find out if your current home equity can help you make your next move sooner than you may have thought possible. Or another thing, if you're a homeowner and you have a lot of equity and you don't necessarily want to sell, you might want to start investing in other real estate properties. You might want to invest in an Airbnb property, right? We do a lot of that as well. You might want to invest in a little apartment building. We do a lot of that as well. You might want to get a little rental home, right? There's Airbnb. Okay, this is so funny. I know this is off topic, but the short-term rental space is being replaced by Airbnb. And what do I mean by that? Nobody calls the space short-term rental anymore. Everybody call it Airbnb. When I get a call and a buyer is saying, hey, I want to buy an Airbnb property, if I say, oh, you're looking to buy a short-term rental property, they will correct me and say, no, Well, I'm looking to buy Airbnb. Don't you know what Airbnb is? They have been enough to ask me these questions, right? You don't know what the Airbnb is, right? This is how much Airbnb has controlled the space. So Airbnb is like Xerox, right? People don't say make me a copy. They're like, let's Xerox some copy. Let's Xerox this, right? Just like Kleenex also replaced the word tissue. Get me a tissue, get me a Kleenex, right? So Airbnb have so taken over the short-term rental space, but at the same time, they're not the only platform there. There's Verbio, there's Booking.com, there's TripAdvisor, there's HomeAway, there's all these different companies, right? But yet Airbnb sits in that space. So if you have all this equity in your home and you don't necessarily want to sell it, now might be a time to consider buying an investment property, maybe doing an Airbnb property, especially here in Central Florida, or anywhere whatsoever, right? Airbnb is everywhere now. All right. Here's another thing, guys. Remote work is changing our own needs, right? More and more people are working remotely, which means if you have a smaller home or maybe a townhome or a condo and it's too small for you, you may want to consider selling so you can get something bigger, right? And accommodate your work so you don't have to commute either, right? And that's another thing too, guys. People are having more buying power because they don't have to spend money in gas and any commuter fee, especially if they're working from home, which gives them more money in their pocket to buy a better, more comfortable home, right? If you're one of the nearly 23% of workers who will remain 100% remote, then you're going to be thinking about buying a bigger home. And I think this percentage is going to keep going up because as more and more companies realize that they don't have to pay these huge rent and leases for these buildings that they build, that they have to, they have to rent this big building or rent this big office to accommodate their workers. If they realize these workers could work from home and they save all that money to those commercial landlords, they're going to do it, guys. And I could see more businesses starting to get into more virtual work. They're going to start to change their system to see if more and more people could work virtually home. And that's going to be a big deal. So here's a good question. If I sell now, where will I go? Where will I go, right? Where I want to go. So remember I told you about the bridge loan program that we work with? You could find your home that you want to go to first, buy that first, then you could sell your home, right? You definitely want to find the home you want to go to first. And the catch-22 is a lot of times all the money is in the home. So you got to sell the home first. And where are you going to live when you sell the home before you get the other home, right? That's why a bridge loan may not be a bad idea. The program that we work with, they only charge you 1.5% of the purchase price of the home you're buying. So all the other costs remains the same. So let's say you're buying a home for $300,000. They'll charge you 1.5%, which is $4,500, I believe. I hope my math is right. 1.5% of 350,000. Of 300,000, it's $4,500. So that's what you'd pay more in price. So give us a call or send us a text to get this full report. This report comes out once every quarter. So based upon, if you send us a request for next year, we're not going to send you this report. We're going to send you the one that's conducive to the time frame that you're asking us for, because we improve these reports each quarter to make it work for the market. And here's a good question. Should I renovate my house before I sell it, right? What should I do? Well, here's a chart, guys. This report is so important. You should really get a copy of it. But this little chart tells us how much percentage in return will come back to us if we do certain repairs. If we repair our garage door replacement, right? If we replace the roof is a huge one. If we remodel our bathroom, kitchens, and roof, sell. In Florida, the three biggest thing that's going to get you the most amount of money is going to be, in addition to this, is also going to be air conditioning and your hot water tank, right? If you have a new AC, you're going to get more money. If you have a new hot water tank, you're going to get more money. If your kitchen is more modern and looks like the builder's kitchen, a model home kitchen and bathroom, it's going to drive more. In Florida, roofing is huge, right? If your roof is older than 10 years old, you're going to have issues, right? A lot of people want the roof to be 10 years or younger. Even the insurance companies are being very iffy in Florida of insuring roofs over 10 years old. So if your roof is under 10 years old, big plus for you, okay? So it depends upon what kind of renovation you're doing. Sometimes we could do little small things to give us a better a better look for the home, a better curb appeal, maybe some landscaping. For Florida, that would be a big deal, right? To spruce things up to make it look, you want the buyer to feel like they're living in the home when they're looking at it, because they're already putting themselves mentally in the property. So the more neutral you have it and the more model looking it looks, the more they could put themselves in there, and the more bidding wars, the more offers you'll get, and the more bidding wars will happen as well, right? The average home sale received 4.5 offers, guys. 89% of homes sold were on the market for less than a month. Listen, 89%, I don't know where this is coming from, but let me tell you something. This is across the US. But I would say 90% of the homes in our area are sold, or they get an offer on them within the first 10 days, some within 2 to 3 days. As a matter of fact, the only reason why it goes out to 5 to 10 days is because the seller sometimes will wait to see how many offers they get. Because the minute it goes on the market, it start getting offers, right? And only if you want to wait, like, you know what, give it a few days. Let me see how many offers we really get, right? That's the only way it's going to stay on there longer, right? So that is insane. And guess what? There are more and more people coming to the table with cash as well. And there are more and more people that are able to pay the appraised price different and still buy the home. And don't you think the people that bought homes last year already have equity? What do you guys think? Do you think the people that bought home last year have equity? I would say, yeah. I would say the people that bought homes 3 months ago probably start having equity already, right? For sure, right? For sure. So you want to make a good impression. You want to price it right. You want to talk with a professional real estate agent that's in the space every day. A lot of people think that real estate is not really a big deal, that they know what to do, that is like selling a car, and it's not, guys. There's a lot of moving parts in real estate. There's a lot of things you need to know. If you get a savvy buyer and you're not a savvy seller, that may create problems, and vice versa. So you definitely want to be neutral. I say a real estate transaction should be a neutral transaction. What do I mean by that? I mean that the buyer and the seller should never interact. The buyer should have their agent, the seller should have their agent. There should be a buffer. Even if it's one agent dealing with both, at least there's a buffer. Because sellers are very emotionally attached to their homes and the buyers are not. And the buyers are going to try to get the most home for their money. So they're going to back talk everything in the home. And that's going to upset the seller. That's why you never want to have a seller and a buyer at an inspection at the same time, because the inspector might say something, the buyer might agree with the inspector, and the seller is going to defend it, right? The seller is going to be like, no, that's not true. I've been living here for forever, and whatever the situation is, right? So that's what happened. So anyway, guys, I'm going to shorten the video. I don't want to be too long on here. This is our report. Just give us a call, send us a text or an email to get a copy of this report if you're thinking of selling, or if you want to get your home ready to sell, maybe in a few months or so, or anytime, whenever time you watch the video, you're thinking of selling your property, we will send you out the most current report that we have. This one is for fall, right? How to prepare your house for a winning sale. That's a really, really big deal. And these are some simple steps. Wash all windows, give your entry a facelift, make sure all exterior lights are working, paint or replace the street number. I mean, these are small stuff, guys. So in any event, text us at 407-791-4713 for a copy, and we will get one over to you, okay? This copy, as I said, we have it every quarter. If you're thinking of selling your home and buying another home, we definitely could help you with that. If you are thinking of just selling, because you're relocating to another state, we could also help you with that. And if you're in the catch-22 where you need to sell your home to get the equity to buy another home, we are experts in that department, guys. Okay? Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.